guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another prediction show video. JP isn't here this week, but don't worry, he has his predictions in. I'll have my predictions in too. I beat JP once again last week by 5 points to 2. We actually got none right on Monday. A few of them were close, but we didn't get any right on Monday. It's fair to say that a lot of people wouldn't have got many right on Monday with some of the results that went ahead there. But yeah, on Friday is where we got all our points, essentially. Moving on to this week, though, and obviously I won by 5 points to 2, as I said. JP now leads by 44 points to 42, so there's not much in it. He was 15 points up at one point, maybe even more. But we're going to get into Derry City first, up against Bohemians. Bohemians haven't won in their last 3 games. And Derry drew their last 2 games, which will disappoint them a little bit, I think. Be interested to see if Derry changed the formation. They've played Mullen up front, Danny Mullen up front with Pat Hooban to some success, it has to be said. But they kind of reverted back to one up front against Shelbourne. I can understand that as well, because you don't want to be outmatched in the middle of the park, basically. Would they be more confident against Bohemians playing 2 in the middle of the park and maybe 2 up front? It's very possible, in my opinion. Diallo's back. He came back for Derry City as well against Shelbourne. He came off the bench. So that's good news for Derry City going into this particular game. Bows, look, they've been... I know most teams have been up and down the league, but they've been really up and down. When they don't expect to get results, that's when they get results generally. And when they're expected to win, generally they don't. They were very disappointing against Galway. And to lose against Galway aside, they had a man sent off with 33 minutes to go as well. It was very disappointing. They were really cut out. Still think there's frailties in that Bohemians defence, to be honest. I don't think it's improved an awful lot since last season. I think the keeper's done okay, although he made an error at the weekend, but he's done okay for them. I'm not convinced that their centre back still, any of them. Some of them look okay sometimes, and sometimes they look dreadful. So I don't know. I mean, Cian Byrne has been kind of left out completely recently, which is interesting as well. I'm not really sure why that's the case. I certainly don't think he's any worse than some of the players that have come in, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, Bows, look, I think if Bows finish top 4, it's been a cracking season for them, to be perfectly honest with you. And look, they go into this game and sometimes they get a performance and, you think, they're not too bad. And then other times, they go and play a game, you think, they're quite poor. And I know a lot of teams are like that in the league as well. Derry go into the game, obviously 3 points off Shelbourne. A bit disappointed, so they will be that they drew at home to Shelbourne. Certainly in the circumstances, they'll be disappointed. Missed an opportunity there, didn't they? They would be on 26 had they won the game. The same amount of points Shelbourne would be on. So it's disappointing. But at the same time, they're 3 points off Shelbourne. So they're not too far off. So they're still in the mix. So they'll be happy with that. They've scored a lot of goals this season as well. 23 goals and conceded 15, which would be disappointing for them. Bowls have only scored 14, for example, and conceded pretty much the same amount of goals in 16. How am I seeing this game? JP's gone for 2-0. And I have to match him on this. This was in my head going into it. I'm going to go for 2-0 as well. So JP's gone for Derry City 2, Bohemians 0. And I've gone for Derry City 2, Bohemians 0. Now the next one up we have Galway United and Sligo Rovers, both sides. Obviously it's a Connacht derby. It's 7 years since they had a Connacht derby up to the game at the showgrounds where it finished 0-0. Galway are unbeaten in 6. They're the form side in the league. They've had some very good results. And as we said in the Premier Division show, which was out just before this, by the way, if you want to check that out, looking back at all the other games from last week, pretty much Monday anyway, and talk about John Daly and stuff like that at Pats. But anyway, Galway, I'm not sure if Caulfield's back for this one, by the way. He got a 3-match ban. I don't think he's back for this one. I think Horgan's still in the dugout. But to score 8 goals and 7 and concede 7 and 14 is madness, really, to be honest with you. But that's the template. They're solid. They're very, very solid, and they've got players who can nick a goal for them, basically, in big games. And, Sligo, after winning at home to Pats, you would think should be coming into this game with a bit of confidence, but I think Pats were kind of there for the taking, if I'm honest, too. And, you know, there's been a lot of that in some of the Pats games. Sligo took advantage, to be fair to them. Looks like Matt is going in the summer, doesn't it? And they'll hope to keep on to Ed McGinty. But it's a big game, I think. It's weird though. Sligo could win this game, go level with Galway, and suddenly everything's hunky-dory again. Galway could win, and you're looking at Sligo and going, they're in a bit of trouble. So they are 3 points above Drogheda United in the league. They have beaten Drogheda and lost to Drogheda this season too, Sligo Rovers, but I can see another 0-0. It was 0-0 to Showgrounds. I personally can see another 0-0 in this game. I think they might cancel each other out. There hasn't been too many games. Only one game this season, I think, where Galway have actually conceded 2 goals in, and that was the Bohemians game at Eamon DC Park. I'm looking at JP here, and JP's actually gone for Galway to nick it 1-0. So it's like that. You're kind of going 0-0, 1-0 to Galway or 1-0 to Sligo, aren't you? And none of the results would surprise me. What would surprise me would be a 2-2 draw or something like that. But I'm going for 0-0, and JP has gone for, obviously, 1-0 to Galway United. Next up, top of the table, Shelbourne. I think they'll be buoyant by the way they got that draw in Derry. They take on Drogheda at Talca Park, and they have a very good record against Drogheda, particularly at Talca Park. They did draw earlier on in the season, both sides, at Weavers Park, when Sean Boyd had to score a late goal there too, as he did at the weekend. To get shells out of Dodge, and I don't know, there just seems to be a thing that Drogheda struggle at Talca Park. And I think it might continue. It looked like a brilliant result and a brilliant you would say confidence booster, really, you would think, in the Loud Derby with that victory at Weavers Park in the last minute. But I do fancy Shelbourne in this game. They haven't won too many games recently, to be fair. Pat's the only game they've won in the last 6 or 7 matches, so they've had some draws like the Derry result where you're kind of going, that's okay, and the Shamrock Rovers draw where you kind of go, that's okay for them as well. So they've had that too in that run. But I'd imagine Sean Boyd be on the bench again. He seems to be the go-to super sub, if you like. I think Duff likes the counter-attack and movement of the players. The likes of Burt, obviously, and Jarvis. And Matty Smith, I think he likes that counter-attack and interchange and style. And they look to keep solid at the back. I think only Galway United have actually conceded less goals than Shelbourne this season. Yeah, that's the case. Galway have conceded less goals, and that's it. Shelbourne have conceded 10. But there does tend to be goals when Shelbourne and Drogheda take on each other, be it at Weavers Park or be it at Talca Park. But it's been a couple of bad results at Talca Park for Drogheda, and they'll remember the 6-0. I know that was near the end of the season, and they'd a lot of players out, but at the same time, in general, the record at Talca Park isn't the best. So I think Shelbourne need a win. I think they're due a win, to be honest with you. And I think they'll get the win. I think Shelbourne will win this game also by 2-0. I think they'll win by 2-0. JP thinks Shelbourne will win 2, but he's gone for Shells 2, Drogheda United 1. Waterford at home to Dundalk. And Waterford, look, they've had 2 brilliant results. The Friday and Monday to go away from home, both games against Sligo, and obviously the Shamrock Rovers game was a brilliant performance and result, and get 6 points was just fantastic for them. They're on 19 points in the league. Dundalk are on 9. The thing is with Waterford, their home record is poor. It's the worst in the league. That includes the bottom of the table team, Dundalk here as well. So away from home, they're very good. I think they're set up to play that type of football away from home. I think they're very good on the counter-attack. They attack very swiftly and very quickly on the counter-attack. At home, the onus is on them a bit more, so maybe they feel the responsibility is a bit different at home. I don't see any reason why you have to change your style at home if it's working, say, away, for example. But I just think sometimes at home, in that sense, players almost subconsciously think they can't do certain things that they might maybe not get away with, but kind of feel they can do away from home. That could be a facet too. And Waterford fans are going to expect Dundalk to win, or Waterford fans are going to expect Waterford to win this football match at home. Dundalk, obviously, since Noel King has come in, I've talked about this in the Premier Division show, how he's been taking a back seat in the dugout in Gartland. Brian Gartland's been out dishing out all the instructions, which I think is very unusual, actually. It's very interesting that. But Dundalk have improved in the 3 games since Noel King officially came in, beating Bowes at home and fairly comfortably too. Drawing 0-0 home to Shells, they could have nicked it. And even the draw up in Drogheda, because I watched them live and they played Drogheda at Oriel Park, and they were much better than they were in the game in Oriel Park. They are looking to play a faster, quicker brand of football, and the passive slowness seems to be gone out of their game. So, all in all, they probably feel a little unlucky to have got the defeat in Drogheda, to be fair to them. So, the performance wasn't that bad. I've seen them play a lot worse this season, to be honest with you. I have a suspicion Dundalk are going to go up here and win the game. I have a suspicion. And JP basically has gone for Waterford to win this game and win it well. He's gone for Waterford to win it 3-0. And that could well happen. But there's something nagging at me that's saying Dundalk are going to go up and get a result. And I think they might nick it here. I think Dundalk might go up there and nick it. I think they'll be very disappointed what happened in Drogheda. I think they'll be quite pleased the way they've been playing. I think there might be a bit of pressure after beating Rovers away for Waterford to go and beat bottom of the table Dundalk. And I just think Dundalk may take advantage of that. So JP's gone for a big win for Waterford here, in fairness. He's gone for 3-0 for the Blues. But I think Dundalk might nick this, and it could come back to bite me, but I have to trust my instinct, and I'll go Waterford FC 0, Dundalk 1. Finally now, Shamrock Rovers take on St Patrick's Athletic at Tal Stadium. I will be at this one. I will be vlogging this one. And obviously 2 stories to this match, really. Shamrock Rovers beaten well at home to Waterford on Monday night. It's very difficult, no matter who they were playing in this fixture, I feel, to see Shamrock Rovers go into a fixture at Tallaght Stadium after such a humbling performance and result, against Waterford, that they're going to do that again. I think they're too good of a team. I think that would have hurt them badly. They're a wounded animal coming into this one big time. And Pats have been the type of team this season, to be honest, where it's not the worst fixture in the world. If you're, in trouble, need a win, to play Pats. And that's disappointing from a Pats point of view, if I'm honest with you, because it suggests a level of maybe softness too, but for whatever reason. But we often see when a manager gets a sack, you see not necessarily a new manager bounce, I've said it, but a sacking manager bounce. And Sean O'Connor, funnily enough, will be in charge for this game at Tallaght Stadium, the former Shamrock Rovers player, of course. A lot of history there with Pats and Rovers, etc. But he'd be there as interim. It'd be interesting to see if there's any changes to the Pat side in terms of the way they play, or if Sean O'Connor was part of the influence, like a massive influence in how Pats played under Daly, let's say. I think that'll be an interesting facet of the game, see if there are any changes you can see, or subtle changes. But I think regardless of that, I think it's going to be a very difficult game for Pats. I think the quicker Pats get a manager, the better, and a manager that hopefully, suits the club, basically. But either way, this was always going to be a very difficult game for Pats. And I can't really see them getting a result, to be honest with you, particularly after Rovers getting beaten home to Waterford 3-1 was probably the worst thing that could have happened Pats coming into this game, if I'm honest with you. If Rovers had won a 4-0, it probably would have been better for Pats coming into the game. But JP thinks Rovers will win this very well. He thinks they'll win by 3-0. It wouldn't shock me, if I'm honest with you, but I think it might be a bit tighter. I think the Pats players might show a bit of something, but ultimately won't have enough And I think Shamrock Rovers will come out fighting in this game and put in a performance and get the result. And I think Shamrock Rovers will win this by 2 goals to 1. So there you have it, guys. The only result me and JP share is the Derry Bowls result. In terms of the exact score line, we've shared one or two similarities there. In terms of who's going to win the games, the Shells one and the Shamrock Rovers one. But let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Give us a few predictions. Check out the Premier Division show if you haven't checked it out either. Matchday vlog on Friday at Tallaght Stadium. And that's about it, really. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't before, and give the video a like if you like the content. Thanks very much. See you later.